Welcome to a Fifth of Jack Gaming, where today we're going over our weekly poll. We ended up having a nice solid poll, and we're also trying to dig through and learn a little couple things of new ways to edit since we got a computer and everything. Now we're also using our webcam, so we're going to be trying to use a little bit of different stuff. And we're in the process of figuring things out, so bear with us. But before we end up diving too far into this, we're also a channel that ends up covering Magic the Gathering. We open up packs, deck techs, stuff like that. And then we also cover into the comic book world. Obviously, with the weekly poll, we cover now comics or current comics. And then we also cover Amis. We're in the process of figuring out the setup and everything with that. So if that's something you're interested into, hit that little like button and subscribe over to the channel. With that, let's dive into what we end up having this week. We have 8 issues altogether. Holy moly. It's a bigger poll for us and everything that goes on with it. So we'll give a brief synopsis, and then we'll end up going into our rankings of the top 5. So let's just start off with XMen Red, number 1. This is a new book that started this week. As I say, this has the mutants that have colonized Mars. Storm struggles with everyone to look at her as a queen, but she doesn't want to be known as a queen. Magneto sets up his new home base, and there's a great story, and it defies more reading to it. This is something I want to carry on into the channel and keep on reading. And then we have Strange, number 2. There's a battle against a former hero who died slaying a foe and died by the cause of psychic backlash that killed both the character and their weapons that they ended up having. And then it also discovers more obstacles to bring back her husband, this one right here, aka Dr. Stephen Strange. And then there's also working on balancing powers, because she right now is trying to fight with the powers. And there's a little bit more little tidbits in the book as well, so don't be afraid to read that guy. And then we have, this is from last week and everything. I didn't end up picking it up last week, but I picked it up this week just because I was kind of curious. And it also has another book that we ended up that actually came out this week. So we have, first off, I want to say I like the material on the cover. It's a more stiffer cover and everything. It's not floppy and everything with that, and that's amazing. It has that Bruce Wayne ended up getting arrested and escapes. Big surprise. But he leaves being arrested or being in prison and everything for something else at the end of the book. You're going to have to end up reading the book to be able to get that. That's Batman Beyond the White Knight. This is the first issue of that. Then we have Moon Knight, number 10. It's setting up with Mark Spector getting some counseling and everything. But then the story flips on its head. And then, also along with the story, it shows that Moon Knight is not like Spider-Man and everything, that he's more brutal. Definitely something if you're a Moon Knight fan or you're wanting to know what's going on or have an idea of the character, especially with the Disney Plus, I would dive into this guy. Now, this is Batman Beyond number 1. This is the main reason that we ended up picking up that other White Knight. This has a little teaser for Flashpoint Batman, or Flashpoint Beyond number 0 in there. There's a little teaser that's inside the book as well. It has a good setup and some good art that also kicks along with it. Next is Devil's Reign, number 6 out of 6. That's right, we wrap up Devil's Reign this week. It was a nice solid pickup and everything along with it. Again, the cover I love the material that came over with it. It's a nice stiffer cover. It's not so floppy, and it's not so cheaply feeling with the hands. It's a little bit more predictable, at least for my stage and everything, but it was still a nice, good, solid story, and it's kind of a decent ending that comes along with the way. Especially with, there's not super like shocking ends to it or anything like that, but you'll end up seeing it. Go ahead, give this guy a little chance for it. And then we have Deadpool Bad Blood, #1. So it has decent action, and it seems like more of a flashback-y style of both the book and everything with that. It's really more of a meh for me. I picked it up because I had Leinfeld art and stuff like that, and I kind of wanted to check it out. And final but not least is Spider-Punk #1. It starts off knowing who's behind the mask of Spider-Punk, and his group is a band, is what he likes to call them, is the younger heroes. And just for me, the art wasn't quite there for me. I loved the cover, but the interiors was hit or miss. Sometimes they would end up doing it and everything. But it was an alright story, but I wouldn't say it's a must pick up or anything like that. Alright, so those are the books that we have this week. Now we end up jumping over in our top 5. Top 5 is just because of the books, how I feel about them, where I would end up putting them. The top 5 is my opinion, and if you think something else is different or something that should be in the top 5, let us know down in the comments down below. And now, without further ado, let's get into our top 5. Coming in at number 5 is Batman Beyond #1. It caught my interest. It has the good art that I ended up liking. Has some action, which I like to have in the series. Number 4 is Moon Knight #10. I'm liking the story. I'm liking the character. I like how it ends up showing the art and how brutal that Moon Knight actually is. It's a newer character that I'm learning, so I'm enjoying that entire flow that comes with that. And then number 3, Batman Beyond the White Knight. I know that's 2 DC books in our top 5. Awesome. I love the story that it came out with. I love the little twist. I love the ending and everything. I can't stress how I like the ending and everything. It's something that you gotta end up actually reading and seeing yourself. And then number 2 is Strange #2. I'm liking the character. I'm liking to see the battles that she's having within herself, and having to go through and having this power of being the Sorcerer Supreme thrust onto her. And I'm intrigued of how she's going to end up bringing back Strange, because it's obviously her husband, so she wants to want to bring him back. So I'm intrigued. It has my interest with it. And number 1, XMen Red #1. This thing hit all cylinders for me. It had good art, it had great story, it had good battles, it had everything that went on with it. It's a little thicker of a book as well. If I had to go pick up a book right now, this would be the book I would pick up. I would strongly suggest to be able to pick this up and see what's going on. The artist, I want to say, was Ewing, is the person behind the story, which he's more known for Mortal Hulk, which that was a killer story and it's a more horrified story. So I don't know if this is going to go that direction, but I like it. I like this complex issues that it has, especially with Storm, which is one of my favorite X-Men that come over with it, because I like having the original, and I actually, when I was watching the cartoon and everything, kind of liked Hurley and them better than I did like Cyclops and stuff like that. But that's this week's haul. What did you think of it? Put it down in the comments down below. Did you guys get anything this week? It doesn't have to be comics or anything, but just slap her down in the comments down below. And if you're liking the content that we're putting out, like, subscribe, and hit that little bell icon to be notified about whenever we have new content. Thank you for watching, and thank you for bearing with us along this process. And until next time, we'll see you later.